Hello everyone, my name is shawnvmartin, and today I'm going to be babbling to you about Cougar Town, the worst named but best show that you're not watching on TV. Today is February 14th, 2012, which means that Cougar Town is finally returning to the air after multiple delays and a cut season on US airwaves. Sorry, international viewers, I'm not sure when the season will debut for you, if at all, but here in the US we can expect to see it on ABC at 9 o'clock, which is right up against Glee, which is probably not good, but Glee goes on a 7-week break, I think, next week. So, DVR the first 2 episodes of Cougar Town if you need to get your Glee on, and then after that, make sure that you're watching Cougar Town. And the reason why I want to make sure that you're watching it is because it's one of those good shows that, just like Community, hangs in a weird balance of it might get canceled at any time just because the viewership isn't quite there, even though the fan base is so fanatic. For those uninitiated, Bill Lawrence is the co-creator of Cougar Town. He is also the sole creator of one of my favorite shows ever, Scrubs. He also co-created Spin City. That was his first show. And before that, he wrote for such great shows as Friends and Boy Meets World. He's married to Krista Miller, who played Jordan, Perry Cox's wife, on Scrubs, and who also plays one of the main characters on Cougar Town. I also might have a slight crush on her. I don't want to talk about it. The show takes place in Florida, and it's called Cougar Town because at first it really did seem like the main character, who's played by Courtney Cox, Jules, was going to be like interested in younger guys. That's the way the first season was for a little while. And also, a more practical reason, the local sports team is the Cougars. So even when they got away from the Jules dating younger guys storylines, it still made sense that it was named Cougar Town, even though the cast and crew have come to hate the name and take every opportunity that they can to make fun of it. Now, every single episode, when the title card comes up, which used to just say, "Welcome to Cougar Town," there's now something different in the "Welcome to" spot every single time. And it's become such a great running gag that if you go to the Wikipedia list of the episodes, someone has very smartly put every single subtitle under each episode so that we can keep track of great ones like, "We'll never stop making fun of the name, ... Cougar Town." Now, if you're interested in jumping in, and I would highly suggest it if you're a fan of Scrubs, first of all, the kind of comedy is pretty much directly carried over. I don't think that anyone who liked Scrubs would dislike this for any specific reason. Secondly, I think it's very similar to other very successful shows that are on right now, including Modern Family. And in fact, some of the writers that have written for Scrubs and Cougar Town have also written for Modern Family, so it's clear to see where that's coming from. First up, we've got Courtney Cox playing Jules, who I mentioned before. She is the main character, but just like Scrubs with JD, he was the main character, but it was really an ensemble cast, and sometimes the main story was not his. Same way with Jules. She is a real estate agent who recently got divorced at the beginning of the series, and her ex-husband still lives in the area. They are amicable. I will get more into that later. But she is living the single life at the beginning of the series. She dates a few younger men before she moves on to the only eligible bachelor in the cul-de-sac, who's Grayson. I'll get to him in a moment. She has one kid named Travis. She has 2 best friends, Lori and, wait for it, Ellie. I had to scan the page there. I got it. Lori and Ellie. And they have quite a wine tradition. Pretty much every episode somehow revolves around them drinking wine and or getting drunk on wine. Big Carl. That's all I gotta say, Big Carl. Krista Miller plays Jules' best friend, Ellie. Ellie has a husband named Andy and an infant son named Stan, although if they're smart, I would assume in Season 3 they'll probably age up Stan enough so that he can at least talk, kind of the way they did with the baby in Modern Family. She is mean. She cuts right through people. She sometimes seems a bit unfeeling. She rules over her husband with an iron fist, And no, I'm not describing Jordan from Scrubs. I'm talking about Ellie from Cougar Town. But if you're getting the sense that they are kind of the same character, you're probably right. And that's not really a problem. I love Krista Miller playing a complete bitch. Not only is it a turn-on, but she's incredibly good at it. She's really good at it. She's also very funny. Jules' other best friend, Lori, is played by Busy Phillips, who, if you've ever watched Freaks or Geeks, you might recognize her. She is a very ditzy blonde, and I say blonde in the meanest sense. She's dumb. She's very dumb, but her heart is always in the right place. She makes mistakes, she screws up sometimes, but she's always real and apologetic, and she's actually probably, she might be my favorite character. She has a lot going on with her development. Stuff with Travis, I don't want to give too much away because I don't know what's going to happen in season 3. But she's typically a girl who bounces from guy to guy. She has a lot of one-night stands. She has exes who mistreat her, who keep coming back to beat her up again, kind of like Liz Lemon on 30 Rock. She works for Jules. I think that's how they met, but I'm not positive. And she's constantly battling, kind of friendly, but also kind of not friendly. She's battling against Ellie for Jules' attention, because for some reason Jules is the best friend that is available to either of them, and they both want her. Brian Van Holt plays Bobby Cobb, Jules' ex-husband. Ex-husband? You know what I mean. He's also a sweetheart, kind of like Lori, but as they are divorced, he's an underachiever. He never seems to deliver on what he promises, and only in his middle age is he finally making some strides at becoming a better person, which I know people like that. So I wouldn't say he's an unrealistic character. Like Laurie as well, he's also kind of dumb, but he's kind of redneck dumb, not blonde dumb. It's a different kind of dumb, just to be clear. He's often comic relief, but in the second season, he's gotten a lot more stories that are leading him places. He's making progress as a person. He's making progress as a man. For most of season 1 and 2, he's been living on a boat in a parking lot, which I believe makes him technically homeless. He gets around in a golf cart. I don't think he has a car or access to one. And although I'm not really sure what happened afterwards, I don't remember. Season 2 aired so long ago. They did try and put his boat in the water, and I think it sunk. Dan Bird plays Travis, Jules and Bobby's son. You may recognize him from Easy A. He was the first gay guy who asked Emma Stone's character to pretend that she was messing around with him so that he would stop being made fun of. This kid is hilarious. He was very funny in Easy A. He's 10 times funnier in this show. I love him in this show. He is a very typical 20, how old is he supposed to be? He's a senior in high school at the start of the series, now attending a local college. They have really good, almost non-sitcom-y arcs for him. And what I mean by that is a lot of sitcoms, like It's Always Sunny's. The situation kind of like resets every time. There's never like any real growth. Travis has experienced a lot of growth. He's moved from a kid to clearly a young adult. He's gone through relationships. He's dated older women who've really kind of messed him up because of his own problems and their problems. And it's very interesting to see the way that his parents try and handle his relationships and his life without trying to interfere with it. It's very much like real life. And that's why this show feels much like a dramedy like Scrubs, and a little bit less like a comedy like previously mentioned It's Always Sunny. These characters, even though they get pretty zany and wacky, still a lot of times feel very real. They have real problems, they have real situations that lots of people go through. Ian Gomez plays Andy, Ellie's husband. He is a doting, devoted husband. One of the funniest bits that was on the show with him, and like Bobby, he is often comic relief. In fact, out of all of these characters, he probably has had the least amount of development, which is fine. There needs to be a character or two that is mostly comic relief. You just need that on this kind of show. One of the funniest moments that I can remember is he's married to Krista Miller, and let's be honest, she's much better looking than he is. And there's this one moment where he kind of squares off with this guy across a crowded room, and he knows that he's got a hotter wife than this guy does. And they're not speaking, they're just making eye contact, and he gets him to see his wife, and you just see this guy deflate. Like, he looks at his own wife, who's clearly not as good looking as Krista Miller, and he's just kind of... And Andy is like, yes, I won. Like, that's the kind of thing that Andy lives for. He's very, very funny, and he is best friends with Bobby, which is one of the many reasons that Bobby's life is unable to separate itself from Jules. Because Jules and Ellie are best friends, Bobby and Andy are best friends, even though Jules and Bobby broke up. It's like real life. It's hard to untangle relationships like that. And Bobby and Andy really remind me of an older version and also same race version of JD and Turk from Scrubs. They have a very bromantic relationship. Finally, the last character is Grayson, who's played by Josh Hopkins. He is also a recently divorced person in the cul-de-sac, although unlike Jules, who sits stewing sad for a while, he starts going out and hitting it, like bringing 20-year-olds home every night, which I don't know, maybe older men maybe that's easier to get away with for them. But very quickly, him and Jules develop something, and it's already been pretty much revealed that tonight on the pilot, he's going to propose to... I'm sorry, did I say pilot? I meant the first episode of season 3. He's going to propose to Jules. It's not a mystery. They are probably going to get married by the end of the season. Grayson has become more complicated as the seasons have gone on. He started as a guy who was clearly interested in sex, one-night stands, not getting to know these women, and it wasn't exactly clear why him and his wife split. But as the series went on, and more was revealed, it turned out that he was very interested in having a family with his wife, and for whatever reason, she wasn't. Which makes it even harder when he meets her new husband or boyfriend, I don't remember, and finds out that she's pregnant. And she wasn't willing to do that with him for whatever reason. So it's become very clear that he's trying to pull his life back together at the age of something like 43 or something, and Jules is hopefully the one he can do it with. That is it for the main characters of the show, and pretty much everything that you need to know about their relationships to jump right in. At the end of season 2, this is what happened. I don't think it's... All this stuff will probably be rehashed at the beginning of this episode, just so that anyone new can catch on. But at the end of season 2, Travis had a major breakup with a girl, and he went to Hawaii. He was like, screw it, I'm out of here. I'm going to Hawaii. And he left. So, just like in Scrubs, the entire cast got on a plane, went to Hawaii, and brought him back. Not happy, but happier than he was. And they also had a great tie-in with Scrubs in Hawaii. Turns out Ted is still there. Do you remember that Ted went there at the end of Scrubs? And him and Gooch have broken up. So now he's just a guy who sits around playing a guitar and who makes the happiest songs sound sad, which sounds exactly like what Ted should be doing. So please tune in for season 3 of Cougar Town. You could help save this show from obscurity. It's been averaging 5 to 6, maybe 7 million viewers each episode, and it's been placing in the top 3 in the 18 to 49 demographic for its time slot, which is not bad, but it's still not, I don't think it's the kind of success that ABC is looking for. So please support this show. Please send this video to Bill Lawrence if you want him to retweet it. That would be awesome. and leave a like, and I'll see you tonight on Cougar Town.